Well, hello, football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, of course, as always, is head Viking football coach Billy Skinner. Coach, man, it must feel great to get in the win column and in quite a convincing way.
It does. It absolutely does. I was just saying that Saturdays and Sundays, although I mean we're always going to come in with an intensity and all of those things, but it's nice to kind of lighten the mood around here a little bit. So it's been great this weekend.
I'll bet so. Usually I start off with "How are you doing?" and that was kind of my "How are you doing?" question this week. So
doing great.
We're good stuff. I bet so. And I could just sense an air in the stadium after the game and stuff coming out of the broadcast booth and everything, and talk to some guys, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But it seemed like the offense and defense both played very well overall.
Yes, no, we had some guys who did some really, really special things. Defensively, I always like to start there. Anytime you score a touchdown on defense, that's it's good for morale. It's good to get the juices going. But we had Deontay Gentry go and have a sack. Sophomore kid goes, and the sophomore safety at that goes and gets himself a sack, forces a fumble. And then Jaden Peterson, who we talked to him this week. I told him last week that I wanted to get him some touches at running back because he's a really, really good athlete. And he scores that touchdown on defense.
Yes.
And when he came off to the sideline, I looked at him and said, JP, told you I was going to get you a touchdown this week. So you can thank Gentry for that. But, it was good to see him touch the football. It was good to see him do that, and just good for the defense. That's a good offense that we face. That quarterback, although he's a sophomore, I mean, he's got like 6 stars. I think he's a really good player, and there's some good skill kids over there. And so the fact that our defense kind of stepped up to that challenge and carried over some of the really good things we did from Waxahachie, and I know you look at that 50-7 score and think, well, was there a lot good? Yeah, there was a lot good that our defense did. And so it was good that it was indicative on the scoreboard this week. And then it was great to see the offense wake up. We ran the ball really well. We had some kids. Evan Martinez might have had one of the best performances of an offensive lineman in the last few years here. I mean, he did some really special things. He was playing right tackle for us, and he did some really, really good things to spring big runs. And not only did he do that, but he made other players on the offense better, other blockers on the offense better. So it was nice to see that. And then it was nice to see Gannon take off and run for 45 yards and get himself a touchdown. And me and Coach Williamson always talk about, I used to run the ball, and I was decent at it whenever I played football. And we'd play that game where you'd get the ball and you'd throw it up, and you have to make a bunch of people miss and try to score touchdowns. And, they asked, why were you good at that? And I said, well, fear. I didn't want to get I saw the look in Gannon's eye as he was running. Hey, I'm fast, but I don't want to get touched. So it was good. It was good to see that.
It's interesting you bring that up, and I'll go ahead and say this after the game. I enjoy sometimes, if I can, catch some of the players, just talk afterwards and stuff. And Gannon Carey and Ransom Burns, both baseball players, and I saw them after the game hanging out together, and their moms, I think, were with them. And as went up and talked to him, said, hey, and I said, Gannon, it's interesting up there. We said on the broadcast, but it's hard to remember you're a sophomore, because he showed a lot of poise and character and grit. And I think you've used the word moxie sometimes. But it was so interesting. I hope it's okay if I go into this detail. He said that Mutombo guy and the others were big.
Yep.
And he said, I was doing my best to get away from them. So when you talk about running away and evading, that's part of that whole poise and talent and skill. And I mean, yeah.
Just a healthy dose of fear helps. I'm telling you.
There you go. All right. Let me ask you a question here. Is it a fair observation that the kickoff coverage unit can use some improvement?
Oh, absolutely. We,
okay.
From week 1 to where we are now, much improved, vast improvement. Part of it too is people put their absolute best back there to return, and so you're tackling some talented dudes,
Sure.
But no, we've got to do a little bit better job of one side getting down the field a little bit quicker and making sure that guys stay for lack of better terms, because most people know staying in your lanes, but staying on your landmarks and then getting where you need to and squeezing and just bottling up a ball carrier. So, yeah, that's definitely something that we'll be working on this week and getting better at. So, one of the real positives on it, though, is our kicker has done a phenomenal job. Robert did a great job of putting the ball where we want it. We've got to do a good job of making sure we make him right now, because he's making us right with the kick. We got to make him right with the coverage.
Good deal. Hey, you used the word landmark, and I'm just going to, this off the top of my head, staying in your lane, staying in your landmarks. I'm going to go back to this win for a moment here. I think this is what can be looked at, especially later in the season, probably as a landmark win for the program, especially for this year, because this is a turning point. And, just like you said, man, what a difference it makes in just atmosphere and attitude. And so no matter what happens any of the weeks, coming off of this, this seems to be a landmark type situation. Y'all can look back to and go, remember how we turned it around? Yes. Remember what happened in that game? Yeah. Okay.
No doubt about it. And I think it was a landmark week for us.
There you go.
Because there was a focus in practice this week. There was an urgency in practice this week that we haven't had since I've been here. It's the best week of practice that we've had. And I think that's the thing that I'll point back to. The game was great, and I love that our kids got the win because it's about them. It's about our coaches. But the preparation that they were willing to do, the fact that they were willing to buy into it and go as fast as they could with it, that's the landmark for us. And that's what we'll always point back to is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That prep was better than we've ever done before.
Well, Coach, I think that's more important than a lot of people might realize that you said that, because I can see we're coming off a big win, turning point, that could feed into a landmark week of practice. But you just said coming off of the 2 defeats, they practice with intense focus or increased intensity and so on that led to that. So that really says a lot about the character of the team, I believe.
Yes. And this is the coolest thing. After those 2 losses, I've got a leadership council, and one of the guys on the council, Jad Darkazali, and I love our kids. I forget names all the time. Derek Bledsoe. They send out a message, and they're like, "Hey, Coach, can we have a leadership meeting? We want to sit down and we want to discuss some things." And so we did. On Labor Day, we brought the leadership team in, and they pointed out some areas of concern, some things that they wanted to see improved, and they said this is going to help improve the morale of our team. This is going to help us have success down the road. I mean, after the game on Friday, after we won on Friday, the first text I sent was to that leadership team, and I told them, hey, this win was on you guys, because the adjustments we made in practice, the things that we worked on, it was things that were directly brought up in that leadership meeting. And so you hit it on the head when you talk about the leadership on our team. Like that was really cool. That was really neat to see. And that was really cool to see the outcome based off of the process that they put down for us in that meeting.
Wow. And that just magnifies that whole thing, that they initiated the need for that meeting, the desire for it. Y'all okayed it. And because it's one thing if coaches say, hey guys, leadership, get together, do this, but it's a well that sprung up from within them, so to speak.
No doubt about it.
Oh man. Well, that's really good. That's really good. Let's shift gears, if it's okay, to the JV freshman teams. I know there's been some struggles. Hey, there was a really close game Thursday night, one of the freshman games I had the privilege to announce up there, and had some fun watching those guys for the first time this season at home and everything. What can you tell us about the freshman and JV squads?
So we've got kids that compete extremely hard. We've got some really good athletes. We kind of dig ourselves into holes early with one of the freshman teams and a little bit on the JV. We dig ourselves into some holes. And then, this week, the story on the JV was the Vikes playing against Central and the Vikes. So we would do some really good things, and then we'd take a step back with maybe a silly penalty or putting the ball on the ground or something along those lines. So we've really got to hone in on all levels of the Vikes taking care of the Vikings, of that Zoom focus hey, this is what we do to make sure that we have success. This is how we avoid beating ourselves. So I foresee all levels, both of our ninth grade teams and our JV teams improving and getting better. There's more of an emphasis on it from me. All of our varsity coaches will actually be helping coach during the freshman practices and all of those things, and just more intention with that, with how we approach it, and definitely want to ratchet up the urgency during practice for those younger groups.
And I think there's a lot of guts, character, and VFND spirit in these JV and freshman teams as well. And in fact, I think I shared with you recently after one of the games earlier in the, not this week, but previous week, if it's okay, I'm going to say his name, Trey Keith, the quarterback on JV. I had sent him a text and said, hey man, you showed a lot of guts, a lot of grit, character and everything. And we had a couple of texts back and forth, but when he finished, he said, thanks for supporting us. He could easily have said, thanks for supporting me. But that again shows a team atmosphere, a team spirit. And again, there's that character that y'all are building, I believe, as coaches and so on.
That makes me extremely proud. I mean, I've got goosebumps just hearing that, and, proud of that kid, and proud of all of our kids, because they do, they understand that when we win together. When we lose together. And so brotherhood is our number one core skill here at Lamar. And so the fact that they're about one another and they want to get better for each other, good things are going to happen on all levels.
Definitely so. You're building a great program, Coach. I can see it in so many ways. So looking ahead to this week, all right, going to host the Mesquite Skeeters. And I'm not just, all right, I'm laughing a little bit. Coach, you got to love some of these high school mascots anywhere in the country, but especially in Texas. I mean, you've got the Hutto Hippos, the Trent Gorillas, the Texas City Stingerees. I mean, what are some of your favorites right off the top of your mind, if you can think of any?
Is it New Braunfels they're the unicorns?
Yes, New Braunfels unicorns.
The unicorn. That's my favorite one. I told my son about it. He's like, wait a minute, we could be unicorns somewhere? Like, yeah, there's whatever you want to be.
Speaking of mascots, I apologize. Archie is making an unscheduled. This is my 85 or 80-pound dog, Archie, making a cameo appearance.
So. We might have to have Archie run out of the tunnel with us. That'll be intimidating.
He's very protective of those he loves. I'll
there
say
we go.
that. But yeah, the unicorn. I'm sorry for the interruption, but the unicorns, and there's a whole variety of cool mascots. But you gotta love just Skeeters. That's Texas. So,
oh yeah.
But okay, they're also 1-2. Yeah. They got shellacked by Louisville, who's a perennial playoff team going back decades. Right. Got edged out by a common opponent that we will have later, Arlington High, and then they barely beat their crosstown rival, North Mesquite. Similar record, similar situation. What will y'all be working on this week?
Same thing as every week, working on the bikes. And just doubling down on our process. We want to follow our formula. And right now our formula is win the day. So we've got a really good plan drawn up for Monday, and I'm really excited to have an opportunity to execute that. Obviously, the team we're playing, they are super athletic all over the board. I think that Coach Harris over there, he does a really, really good job of getting his guys amped up, getting his guys ready to play. Defensively, they fly around to the football. Offensively, he does a good job of making sure his playmakers get the ball into their hands. And so we have our hands full putting together a plan. But again, the focus for us, it's always us. We want to make sure that we're working on tackling and getting off blocks and blocking and taking care of our business.
Excellent. That's one of those questions we could just pre-record the answer.
That's all right.
But I think people like to hear it. So
yeah, no doubt.
Give the people what they want, so to speak. Okay. Friday night is also senior night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything kind of special or anything planned? What can folks expect?
So it's just, for us, it's a senior recognition. They'll have their escorts come out with them, and we'll announce their names and who's with them, and just let them know how much we appreciate their contribution to our program. Really, the celebration for them is our banquet. Our banquet is really geared towards our seniors. And so this is just an opportunity to recognize them on a game night. it's special though. This is
Sure.
their senior night. This is the last senior night that some of them will have. If anybody has multiple senior nights, I guess that's not a good thing because we're not doing great school. So no, but we're going to just recognize those guys and thank them for their contribution, and then we're going to go play our butts off for them.
Excellent. Well, I will say, Coach, being a senior in college, best 2.5 years of my life. And I'm not kidding it either. But we'll talk about that another appropriate time. That's just because I changed majors twice anyway. Yeah. Okay. All right. So how are the Gatorade donations coming along?
Oh, awesome. I think this year has been incredible with that. It seems like every day somebody's knocking on the door at the bottom of the MAC, dropping them off. So greatly appreciated. I can't thank our families enough for hearing the call and answering the call.
Excellent. And let's go ahead and plug the Booster Club again, how important they are, give them some thanks, and what can people do to step up and help out?
No doubt about it. Yes, our Booster Club. In fact, we've got a board meeting today, and so we'll discuss a few things, but any money's great, but to be honest, what we need is just other parents to help, whether it's concessions, whether it's when we have our team feeds and we just need extra hands to pass out food, those kind of things. And our Booster Club board, they do a really good job of making sure they communicate and let people know, hey, we need volunteers for this, we need signups for this, and any help that they can lend and any time that they can give, that's greatly appreciated by our whole program, by our kids, by everybody.
And it's so great to see more people helping out in a variety of ways. Like I saw Mr. Gentry, a varsity parent. He was helping out Thursday night at the concession stand during the freshman games. And that's just another reminder, guys and ladies, if you have a son playing on Friday night, come on out Thursday and sell some stuff and help out, right?
No doubt about it. And it's a good opportunity to meet some of the other parents and have somebody maybe to sit next to at the game on Friday night. So, and speaking of Mr. Gentry, doesn't that dude look like he could still play some ball? Every time I see him, like he looks like he would knock somebody out playing football.
Well, I did say Mr. Gentry, sir. And, but I'll tell you this, he does make a heck of a mean Frito pie, by the way. So if you're in the stands to watch, especially on Thursday nights, come over and they know how to make that Frito pie really good. So, all right. Well, Coach, anything else that you want to add before we close off for today?
No, I want to shout out our, I don't even know how to describe it, not our pep squad, but our cheer sponsor, Jared Hall, our drill sponsor, Lori Woods, Alan Lang, our band director, Sarah Larrabee, who's responsible for the Thor Corps and Stuco. That is an amazing team that really, really care about our kids and all Vikings, and they work really hard to make sure that our pep rallies are great and that pregame is great. And so it's been really nice working with them. I love seeing behind the scenes of just how hard they work. And so I want to shout them out and let them know how much I appreciate the work that they put in, because it's a lot, there's a lot that goes into these games and into these pep rallies. So we've got some of the best people around that do this work, and very appreciative to be on their team.
Definitely too. Just got tongue tied a little bit there. Definitely so. And what I was about to think also is, gosh, and I'm about to say, well, Mia Booker is one of the cheerers for the sub-varsity groups, and I apologize, I'm getting just tongue-tied a little bit also. But anyway, it's all that group you mentioned and everybody. Keenan Hall, I believe, is another one. So anyway, but or Fisher, excuse me.
Fisher, so, Kylie Fisher, yeah.
Kylie Fisher, Keenan Hall was last year, but Kylie Fisher, I want to give a shout out to them also because they're so good about providing us the names before the JV and freshman games so we can announce and give some love to those cheerleaders as well over the speakers. Yep. Cool. Anything else you wanted to say?
I think I'm ready to get back to work.
All right. Sounds great. Well, I'm going to be going to my other job on Sunday evening here in about 45 minutes as well. So until next week, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking football coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.